Let's ask a man I can always depend on for a straight take on the reality and his rationale. Senator, Democrat, Pennsylvania, John Fetterman. Good to see you, sir.
Oh, thanks for having me back.
Good. Oh, you're always welcome. So, two quick things. Start with the health care because it matters most. Do you believe that the Republicans are willing to allow these to expire?
I mean, right now that's what's going to happen. I mean, Leader Thune announced that there's definitely not going to be a vote in December. You know, he described that there might be a potential path, but that's going to be in January, and I don't know how that's going to change because technically it expires at the end of the year here. So for me, I mean, I've been just consistently trying to push. Hey, you know what? They have their views. We want our 3 years extension, and that's a non-starter as well too. And what the Republicans put out last week, that was a non-starter. We didn't get a single Democrat to vote for those. I'm saying, look, we have just a couple days left before we're out. Why not just do extended for a 1 year extension? And that way we can say Merry Christmas and we deliver that and people can put their minds at ease and have that 1 more year of this. And we could spend 2026 to negotiate and make the kinds of appropriate changes to make it much more durable and extending that as well too. So for right now, as I've said last week, both proposals, the 3 year that I voted for and the Republican ones, I mean, they were essentially designed to fail. They knew they weren't going to pass. And you can't possibly make significant kinds of changes to something this complex like this. And we're out essentially 2 days out. So for me, that would be simple to do that. So that's what I've been encouraging. You know, we can work together because I think enough people on the Republican side that, you know, no one really appreciates Obamacare. You don't have to appreciate it and buy all in. You can say, we want to deliver relief for our constituents. And that's the quickest, most elegant way that has a possible of passing before the end of the year.
Where do they see the win on the right when their people are going to lose subsidies too? You know all the numbers. You know a lot of people who voted for this president need the ACA subsidies.
I mean, yeah, absolutely. It's going to impact plenty of people. I mean, I'm aware we have a little 400,000 people in my state that receive those kinds of things, and some of the highest kinds of increases are in the deepest red counties in my state. That's going to touch their own people, and that's manifold. Unpack on top of the big beautiful bill that's going to impact rural hospitals and things too. So for me, that's the quickest way. So for me, you know, we own healthcare. At this point, there's not enough time. I hope, and I don't believe that our party's just using it just for a political, you know, theater. But now we're not going to get 3 years. But I think, hey, 1 year. I think that's the one solution that can work because, you know, the Republicans, you know, want to make significant kinds of changes. And it's reasonable to make some kinds of changes, but there's not possible to do that before the end of the year at this point. And Leader Thune confirmed that. And I think Speaker Johnson effectively said the same thing over there in the House.
Topic switch. What did you learn, Senator, that gave you any comfort that we're not heading into some kind of extended military exercise around Venezuela or in Venezuela?
Yeah, absolutely. I thought it was pretty comprehensive, and this idea, some things out in the media, it's kind of putting out this that the military is just picking off, you know, any boat that comes across. That's just not true. I mean, there's extensive intelligence, and they know exactly who's on that boat, and they know what's actually on that boat right now. And it's quite frequently they decline to take it and to move on those things. When they move on those kinetic kinds of strikes, you know, they have absolute confidence that who's on it and what's on it, and that's exactly what it's about. They're not just going around randomly just shooting boats in those things. That's just not the fact at all.
So we heard from the president today, he kind of expanded the circle here and said it's not just about drugs, it's about oil. And they are the whole regime, the whole country is a foreign terror organization, a total and complete blockade of all sanctioned oil tankers going in and out until they return what they stole from us. What did they steal, and what do you make of this?
Yeah, well, what makes it that Iran is involved on that, and Russia's involved on that, and China as well too. I mean, a lot of those things. I mean, that's sanctioned oil right now, and those are the kinds of funds that support regimes like in Iran as well too. And now, absolutely, right now, it's not a plan to like a land war and invade Venezuela and that, but seizing those kinds of oil tankers, and it's undeniable that that's oil that's going to support Iran, and those are the kinds of funds that are used all kinds of illicit things, so terrorism. So for me, it makes a lot of sense, at least by what I've seen.
Senator, why were you not willing to go along with Senator Rand Paul, a Republican obviously, and other Democrats with his war powers resolution to require the president to come and make a show to the Congress before continuing with unilateral military plans and actions?
Well, I think what's happening right now is consistent. And I think that to me, it's not unreasonable to compare that to what President Obama has been doing, during his presidency, and he was using drone hits, and he took out thousands of people and terrorists. And I, of course, if I was in the Senate at that time, I would have supported those as well too. That's the president, and you have some kind of discretion and kinds of things. Now, I don't think anyone in the Senate would support like a full-on land invasion or putting American boots on in Venezuela. But currently, out right now, that's not what's happening. And there is extensive cooperation with nations in the region, and these are not just random strikes. They know exactly that it's in. And that's not, and again, it's been very clear that they decline on often kinds of boats when they can't be absolutely sure exactly what's on it and who's on it, including no women and children or anything.
I get you with what you've seen, that you have more comfort that they're following the evidence right now. Of course, their problem is they haven't been making any show of evidence until very recently with this meeting and a couple of others. The difference, with President Obama, and my personal opinions about how that war was prosecuted aside, he did have the 2001 and 2002 authorizations for use of military force. There is no such thing here that gives power to the president to do what he's doing.
Oh, again, what I'm saying is like what I, at least for me, what I've heard there are these are very specific targeted boats. And they know exactly who's on it, what's in it there as well too. And this also involves the oil tankers. Now that's oil, and that's supporting Iranian regime.
Listen, I get it, and I wouldn't want to be in the debate on the side of I want to protect the drug dealers or I want to protect Iran and oil, but it is essentially sending a message that the president of the United States says you get a death sentence if you are trafficking in drugs. And that's certainly not the sentence and punishment if you are convicted domestically. But isn't that what we're saying here? That, hey, we think you're trafficking in drugs, we're going to kill you. You okay with that?
Yeah, I mean, right now, I think if you would describe when 75,000 Americans are dying overdoses, and they will absolutely know that what's on those boats and who is on those boats as well too, and those are organizations and gangs that are designed as essentially terrorist organizations for that. Now, I know it's different kinds of definitions here, but for right now, I emerged from that now, and I feel comfortable where they are not just blowing up random boats, and it doesn't matter who's on it. If there's a boat there, they're going to take it out. They're actually, very, very careful to make sure they're hitting the right people that have the right kinds of cargoes.
Senator Fetterman, I appreciate your candor. I appreciate you taking the opportunity. As always, if I don't get to speak to you before, I'll reach out. But I wish you the best for the holy days, for Christmas, for the New Year's. And thank you for being on the show at NewsNation.
Oh, Chris, thank you for having me. I'm always having me back.
I hope you get it done, and I hope you get some relief for these 24 million people who need these subsidies. It's good to know you're fighting for that.
I sure hope so.
All right, thank you, sir.
I do too. We could all be Santa Claus, but no, for me, it's like I'm here to vote for that. I'm here. I sure hope so. But thank you for having me on.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.